All right, so this is video 2 of 2, and we're powering through with emerging markets. Is this FXI type of a thing? Kind of. So I don't know what's inside of this one, so be careful. Let's treat it as a stock. It's this candle matters. I think going into 54 is not an obvious entry. Buying the dips into 50 would make more sense to me. I don't know much about what's in it, so you should look into it. Brazil, not Brazil. Make sure to know what's in it. Like I know that EEM is all about China. I don't know what that one was. EWX. Okay, so what? Yeah, go all in. Fit 45%. So buy the dip is right. If somebody, whoever asked for this, I forgot who it was. If you're asking permission to get into the stock right here, don't ever send me a request like that, because the answer is automatically no, no way, absolutely not. Buying dips makes sense. If you're asking permission to book profits, you always have my permission to book profits after a 45% rally. If this gets you back even with the stock, I would exit so fast that it's not even funny from a trading perspective. This is definitely, I can say it with extreme confidence, even if I miss out on more upside, definitely not an obvious entry point. That's as nicely as I can put it. So how do I trade this? Let them dip, buy the dip somewhere, and then let them break out. Then you can get to 140. But to chase it into these prior fails, even if it goes another 5 to 10%, you could make money, but it's not the right thing to do. Ford, same concept. I would not get long Ford here, most definitely. And it's going into earnings, right? So here's my problem with Ford. Every, quote, bad headline for Tesla about cutting prices is a knife in Ford and GM's and Toyota and Audi and BMW and Mercedes back. Tesla makes a crap ton of money from selling electric vehicles. All those other guys lose money on every electric vehicle they sell. When Tesla drops prices, the risk is on its competition, not it. Its gross margin is heads and shoulders above Ford. What does that mean? That's the cost, that's the net after just selling the car. Okay, like here's the car, how much it makes the cost to make the car. Here's my gross margin. Their gross margin in hard dollars is bigger than the hard dollars margin of Ford and GM in totality. And it makes half as much sales. So GM makes 150 billion, Tesla makes 50. I'm rounding, it's somewhere around there. And the gross profit from 50 billion is bigger than the gross profit from GM's at 150. So what? They can afford to lose it. It's like Apple dropping prices to crush Samsung. And Samsung is not cheap, the phones. The perception is that they're cheap. They're not. So this is bad news for Ford. I would not be long Ford into this. I would buy dips and see if they can take this out to technically go to here. I remember saying these comments when Ford was at 26 and it was not well received. I said I would be a buyer under 12, and it went well under 12. Fundamentally, I'm not bearish Ford, the company. I want a good old American company to succeed, but I saw another lightning yesterday, so that's 2 lightnings I've ever seen. I see a Tesla on every corner. I see more Rivians than I see Ford lightnings. Yes, that is a fact. Yesterday I saw 3 Rivians and I saw 1 F-150 Lightning, and it looked like a Ford Ranger. That's how small that thing is. It was weird. And that I hadn't seen a Lightning in months. So I don't know what the hell's going on with the big 3. They are going to have to change the tune, that they're going non-fossil in a few years. How is that possible? I just don't see that path. Okay, so it's bizarre. So I'm not risking money on Ford. But dips into 10, yes, I'll risk some. But up here, no. Foot Locker, I wouldn't touch it. Up here, I don't know what that's all about. The sales were good, okay. That's probably a Nike story. Anyway, it's going into a prior fail. It's not for me. But it is coming out of a descending channel like AMD, remember? Falling for such a long time, establishing a base, coming out of the base. So buying dips into 37 would be the way to do it. Fubo, I used this as an example this morning. If this rally gets me right, I'm out. Why is it doing this? Why is the software doing this now? Okay, you saw the spike I was trying to show you. Yeah, these spikes, no, they're death. So maybe this is the bottom, okay? Maybe this was the bottom. Maybe this was the bottom. Maybe this was the bottom. Not for me. Have they grown in sales? No, they spend too much money. And let me see something here. This is the biggest problem. Oof. Okay, so I'm going to issue a warning right here. All right. So this company bleeds in cash from operations, and I mean bleeds. So 150 million negative in cash from operations, 200 million negative in cash from operations. If I go to the quarterly to see recent, 76 last quarter, quarter before that 90. So that 200 is going to double next time they publish 2022 numbers, because I'm looking at 2022. Here's a quarter with 127, 90, and 70. So that's 290 with 1 quarter to go. Unless the next quarter is big positive number on cash from operations. Why is that important? So whatever the P&L says, net income, whatever this is, it's nothing. They're bleeding 200, maybe 340 in cash just to get those numbers. So that was the sign to tell me to get out of Carvana. This is not a pretty picture. I would not invest, double down, or anything. I would be looking for exits, not entries. So Fiverr, and I say that on Fubo with, hey, it could go to 1 million, and I did the right thing, and I wouldn't look twice back on it. Okay, so over-delivered on the target. Vulnerable, it dipped a little bit, and then they took out. Up here, they're closing gaps. They're going into prior fails. Up above here, I would chase it higher, but I think up here, it is not an obvious entry point, and it's a good, decent exit point. GE, shortable, even into earnings, or did they report already? They reported. Too high for me. I don't think they said that great of a message, and this is shortable. So I would confidently sell a credit call spread and stop out if I'm wrong, or buy some puts and stop out if I'm wrong. I would definitely not chase it. chase it. So gold, you saw my note to get long gold weeks ago, and I said it's a trade on a weekly basis that has a long way to go, and I mean long. I said 180 and or so, and it did both targets, right? So a couple weeks ago, a person in the room said, a friend said, gold above 1900 will go to 3000. As soon as I said, I read that note, I immediately went out and sold the credit call spread. And in the live room, I mentioned it. That was too much exuberance, and I just sold the credit call spread based on the exuberance, knowing the chart inside and out. This was not an easy entry point. I made a quick buck on it. It was just I didn't send it out as a trade alert. I'm just expressing the amount of exuberance after a big rally that we, quote, feel rather than think. There is no way this is an entry point for gold. I don't care where it's going. All right, buying the dips, and maybe a giant dip at that. The first dip will bounce. I bet you it will fail below here, and it will dip again, and I will get into gold somewhere around 168 maybe. I'll put an alert. Not for me. I wouldn't short it, but I wouldn't get long it either. Okay, so if they take this out, they may get to here and repeat the same comments up here. But if they drop significantly and come back and take this out, okay, then we're talking 190, 194. But to buy into this with the exuberance and saying it's going to 300, 3,000, nothing in between, whoa, that's too much love. And he represented what the street was thinking, and I bet against it. It was not rocket science. Google, love the company. Look at the chart. I have the arrow. I had the arrows, and I did go long via credit put spread. I noted it in several places, maybe not everywhere, but up here, not for me. Going into earnings, not for me. The company is gold. I will buy dips. Hopefully, I will be afforded a dip to buy this week. Earnings are coming this week. I think all of them report on Thursday, which is pretty insanity because Wednesday we have the Fed. Friday we have more jobs. My God, who made the schedule? The best we can hope for is like a 2% dip this week or 3%. It would be great. And then just buy a dip, and then all these risks are off the table. Then you can rally back and come back and take this out and get out from this descending channel that we're stuck in, kind of like AMD. Now, having said that, if Google takes, say, 102 out, I think they have the opportunity to take 105 out. If they take 105 out, they can get back to, I don't know, 15, 20 up here. So being long is not bad. If I'm trying to time it better, I would take at least, at most, half position before the earnings. For crying out loud, it just rallied, what is that, 17% in just a few days. Okay, good recovery on GRWG. I would be excited if they can take this out. Then they get to here. I am not playing in that whole segment. I don't believe in pot stocks anymore. Goldman Sachs, Iron Condor would be the best. About this size, I have not priced one, I don't think. Yep, I did. So I don't know when I did this, but there it is. This was the Iron Condor, and it's probably still in the middle. Oh, wait. Did I do it? I shared it somewhere. Anyway, this is the trade I would do. I don't know if it's going to rally. I don't know if it's going to fall. I know it has support. I know it has resistance. And I know it can get to 305. By dropping, bouncing, failing not to take this out, losing this, it will come down to here. So hopefully that happens before this expires. The Home Depot. If people are not spending money, this is where they cut first. I am not doing my lawn if I'm struggling to pay my rent. Simply stated. So the battle is take the resistance out now before you lose this. If you lose this buy the opportunity, you will get to here quickly, and that's where I will buy it, somewhere inside this zone. So this is a buy the dip opportunity, but I should do it this way. Buy the dip with a stop out. So if it doesn't work, exit. It worked once. They need to take this out. And eventually this. I do like the company. Just don't know why it would go to the moon. Maybe an Iron Condor would work. If there's no earnings, there might be earnings. They're earnings, so I wouldn't do it. These are the companies that could pre-announce. February 21st. Okay, so it's not coming too soon, but look in Lowe's. Make sure Lowe's isn't reporting soon either. But if they're not reporting, I would try to do an Iron Condor between these values. Remind me on Monday if somebody's interested. eBayM. If you've known me for a long time, I can't stand this company. The most overrated, underachieving, mega cap company, board of director, CEO of all time. I have never seen more mediocrity than this company. They've been talking about artificial intelligence since I was a teenager. I remember being in Lebanon in I don't know what grade, hearing about this big blue whatever robot playing chess against Karpov or whatever his name was back then. What? And they're not dominating the AI segment. And now guess who's dominating the AI segment? Drop a name. Guess who's dominating the AI segment? I believe they just took the lead. Microsoft. They invested in that GPT chat. Boom. Microsoft. What? Yes. Imagine charging you monthly fee to use the GPT chat, which is freaking amazing. I needed code. I needed VB script to put into an Excel file to send an email out of an Excel list. 30 seconds. I had the whole file with notes. How to use it. I just said it exactly like that. Give me VB script for an Excel file to send out emails out of a list. 30 seconds. Copy, code, paste it, done. You need to tweak a couple of things, but it's done. Okay, so Microsoft invested in it. I see no reason why it can't fall to 124. I see no reason to break out of this range. So Iron Condor would probably be the best way to handle this. I think they just reported, so that weird thing is gone. There are sellers here. If you take this out, you have a shot at this. If you take this, you go to here. But you know what's mind-boggling? That with all the struggles that the market had, and with all the quality of the companies like Amazon being at levels from the pandemic, this moron stock is at an all-time high. What? That was mind-boggling last week. It was an epiphany. It's like, how is that possible? So don't argue with logic, with stupid, as they say. They will beat you with experience. This is a seller zone. I think this is a buyer zone. So pops will be sold. Pops will be sold. That's my, we'll see. Intel. So I'm a fan of Intel because nobody likes it. But the message from the CEO, this was the worst forecast in history of the company, according to one headline. So at least one of the worst forecasts in history. So I pay attention. So here's the story. If I'm long, I don't add. If I'm looking to get long, I will nibble and forget about it. It's an investment in stock and I forget about it. Or I would sell puts to get into that investment in stocks and forget about it. If I get a sign, fine. If not, I'm making money. If I'm stuck long, I don't add. I just have to listen and hope that this was the worst forecast. Now the expectations are as low as possible. So the next message, even if it's just bad, not super bad, then it should pop like Netflix. They had the worst forecast like 3 or 4 quarters ago and the stock fell 60%. But that was the washout moment. There were no longs left that don't believe in the company, which means they are strong hands. So anybody stuck in Intel is a strong hand after this washout moment, hopefully. Lose this, you go to 22. Johnson & Johnson falling into support. I believe on the dip from earnings, I sent out a credit put spread alert and it paid quickly and now it's at maximum gains or close to it. I would close it. That's it. I'm not interested in the stock. So it could rally, but it's not for me. It's too many headlines in that segment. So Lam Research, good company. Maybe it dips, and if it does, maybe they take this out. This is too easy of a breakout for me not to respect it. It's also too easy to expect it's going to be easy. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, really? It's like somebody dangling a piece of cheese in front of a mouse. The mouse is looking around. It's like, no, that's too easy. So you do have buyers on a buy the dip moment. It's been going on for weeks. So eventually this should happen. From what level? I don't know. The day report? They did. So that urgency is gone. That's good. LSI, going into a prior fail. Not for me. I forgot what these guys do. Like simulation, modeling, self-storage. Boy, was I way off. LSI Logic is the other one. Okay, never mind. So... Jeez. Okay, so this is not an obvious entry point. Those are huge fails. It's strong momentum. I would not short it. I would book profits. Macy's, I would be buying dips. I wouldn't be chasing it up here. However, if you take out last week's high, you could get to 25.50. So the management is questionable at best. I say that having some knowledge on the inside. See that zone right there? This is totally correct still. That all these fails. It's not good to get long these fails. All right. MAG Silver Corporation. Don't know what that is. When they lost this, they had this as a target. So it's headed towards a target. It has support into 1250, but I really don't know what it is. And the support could extend wide. I know there's a wall above it at 16. I would not get long into 16. I would wait until they take out 17 or buy the dip in order to try a long and stop out. So somebody asked for Mana. So when you ask for a ticker that is crypto, give me the whole ticker. So you didn't even say Mana, you said Matic. And if I didn't catch it, I copy paste and run it. And if it doesn't come up, it'll error out and I won't see the ticker. So if you want me to cover it, tell me it's Mana USD. That's Matic. So, right? So it's definitely not a starting point, but like crypto, I wouldn't start longs here, but you could make a ton of money. I wouldn't get out of my positions. They have momentum. Apparently, according to statistics, crypto trades in cycles, and this is a big cycle up. So how far it goes, I don't know. I can tell you that MAG. No. That's not Matic. Okay, I can tell you that I'm not closing my longs in crypto yet. MAS, tight range, trigger out, support. So buying dips works, staying long works. It's so close to breakout. Just make sure if it's a trading opportunity to have stops. I think it has support into 48 and actually 49.5. So good position to be in. MongoDB. Going into resistance. That was a gap it would fill here. It could go higher. It might have been a breakout from here. But starting longs here, if you do, make sure you have stop outs and buy the dips are better. Buying dips better. Looks like this is a long-term. Okay, so this looks like a wall they're trying to break out of, and they failed since March of last year. Be careful. Eventually, they will break out of it. But so buy dips. If you didn't buy it at 59, why are you buying it at 63? But eventually, it needs to break out of there. MPW at 14, breaking out of 14 will get you 16 or 17. Buying dips into 12, 11 and a half would be ideal. Now, if you do get to 11 and a half, then you risk not being able to break out. So make sure if you fade here and you pop, you make progress better than here. Otherwise, you're bleeding lower to 10 and a half. So buying dips, just make sure to pick the right dip to buy. So this will be it. I need to put that on there. MPW. Let's go update the list. Sometimes I do the list. It's a lot of work. This takes like 3 or 4 hours to do the list. Just imagine typing it. Moderna. I don't know much about it. It's in the middle of the range. I don't know why I would buy it now or own it or anything. The vaccine story is done. What's their next home run? So do your homework on the company and see if you want to invest in the company. This is a pivotal zone for a long time. It could be the base to get to 235, but I don't know why you couldn't be at 160 in 2 months. I have no idea. So those are headline stocks. They do this kind of stuff out of nowhere. Look, there was no earnings here. Don't know what that was all about. Or this. So be careful. You need to do homework on those stocks. Charts are not everything. Microsoft, they reported. I think an Iron Condor would work best. If you want real good clues, you just look at that insane reaction last week on its earnings. And I don't see it here. I think it's that purple box. So this is the spike from earnings, and this is the low, I think, or right after, or something like that. So this is an important box. So, I know why I can't see it. This spike should be a wall. This drop should be support. That's why you're inside this box. Iron Condor would work. MSTR, you're trading Bitcoin. I would use Bitcoin to trade Bitcoin. I wouldn't use MSTR. Don't short it. But it is going into a prior fail. Now, if they take out 295 convincingly, they can get to 340, 360. And if they take out that, they can get to 500. It's better to buy dips, but I don't know anything about it. Its P&L is crappy because you can't tell what the hell they do. So if you're long Bitcoin, get long Bitcoin. It's cheaper. Shares, if this is up here, BITO is up here. I guarantee it. So if this is up here, that's because BITO is up there. It's so much cheaper to play BITO than this one in absolute dollars. I don't know why you would risk your money on a company. Micron, at a prior fail, definitely not a starting point. Moreover, it's at a target that we had drawn for it. So definitely not a start of longs, an exit of longs if that, and buy the dip mode. So this one is still here, buy the dip. ServiceNow, this reaction, did they report? I think they reported, right? So do we have any clues? Did they report it? So this is a wall like Microsoft, and it has pretty good support. So you're in the buy the dip mode on ServiceNow. NVIDIA, like AMD, made tremendous headway and is in a breakout which has higher target. So they're finally out of this target that they met almost to the penny from when I called it way up here. So they don't need to get back to here and finish this. I don't think that that's doable. So now you're in a buy the dip mode. So what was a descending channel for about a year, they went sideways for a little bit and they just broke out of that sideways moment. So now the dips will be bought. I don't know how deep the dips will be, but expect some drama at 225, 215 to 220. So the whole zone is dramatic because look, that is the neckline that caused all of this. So this neckline, the whole zone, is not likely to be easy. Shouldn't be easy, but is not shortable. Now you're in buy the dip mode. All the targets have been met. So if it falls to 188 or 172, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip mode as a trading opportunity. Fundamentally, it's a pretty good company. I'm going to put that at 182. Okay, perception is that it's the best. I disagree, but perception is. Okta, you can see it. The opportunity to break out is there. They haven't been able to do much with it. They have buyers. Big gap, not for me. If it gets to 58 or lower, I would be interested as a trade. But make sure you're not jumping into regular earnings. I don't know why it doesn't show me the earnings until I go to a daily chart, which is pretty annoying. You can see the upside opportunity. We can see the gap, but there's a gap below. Why do this? Why? That's bad. So come back to the earnings base and get long. This is not an obvious entry point. It should fade a little bit, and then it's a place where I would be booking profits, not getting long into the stock. I don't know what they do. So support around here, better support around here. Also a gap below. Oxy, I was right. Damn it, I was right. Where's my cookie? Okay, so this is a headline stock at any point in time. People erroneously traded it long up here because Buffett was going to buy the company. Well, Buffett is not trying to make money off the stock. He is trying to put it inside of its flat cash flow statement. So don't invest like a whale. It'd be shocker, but you are not a whale. So we don't know what he's planning. I think 70 should be death without a headline that Buffett indeed bought the whole company or something. And there is that headline looming. The last headline was that I read was the SEC opened the door. They said you're allowed to add more shares, and it spiked. And he hasn't said he bought more shares. Correct me if I'm wrong. So buying the dips for now until this is lost, and I think it will be lost before a new high. I think we make a new low recent before we make a new high. PBR, I don't touch this company. I don't trade any Brazilian stocks. For some reason, it's like China. It's the black hole of information, and it's just junk. So you have support here. You have resistance there. You want to trade it, draw a box around here, and trade the edges of that box, and then chase the breakout of one side or the other. I don't know what that is. In danger of covering this. If they don't break out of 11, I think that you can buy them at 6 or lower. Okay. I don't know. Are you here? Whoever is asking for this? Don't be shy. I just want to know what's going on. What are you asking for? Hopefully that it is an exit point. Okay. So it can go to $760. It's going to have to do it without me. Inverse head and shoulders on this. I would not call it that. Where is the other head? There's nothing. This is an all-time high. Oh, wait. What is this? Oh, my God. Yeah, this is not for me. It can go to here if it wants to. It is definitely not for me. Okay, if you want to say that this is an inverse head and shoulders or a cup and handle to be more accurate, this is a monthly candle. So you need a monthly breakout candle, not a daily breakout candle. What does that mean? It means it needs to break out of here. Come back and test it to confirm this breakout on a monthly. So you need 2 months on that, on this chart. If you go on a weekly, it doesn't even show up. So consider it on a weekly. You need a week breakout and a week retest to confirm it. So to go on it on a daily is having a lot of faith. So for me, I would be buying dips, not chasing it up here. This is the type of stock, the other one, is that it's not for me. I don't know enough about it. I don't know what this is. They're trying to get out of this descending channel. So this point right here could be this point right here. This is what they did here. And then this is what happened. So they're going into a prior fail, not for me. They will have to prove it to me before I believe it. Right now, it's in a descending channel. They're selling rallies. This is a rally. So why is this rally different than this rally up here? I'm not sure why. So let me know. This is death. This is tough. So it's clearing a tough spot, going into an even tougher spot. Not for me. Buy dips into 9 or 920 or something. Palantir. So I'm long the shares. And I gave advice earlier. If I'm long a quote crappy stock and this rally spike out of nowhere relieves me, I would exit. Except when I'm about even to green in this stock, and my investment was long term, and it was not a full size investment, so I didn't do anything. I didn't book my shares. I didn't nail the entry. I'm just long at a reasonable price, and that's it. I believe in this company, P&L, and in fact, I believed in it because of why other people don't believe in it. They're selling it because how much money the CEO makes and the fact that they're losing business from the government. But their overall business is growing, so they're switching from selling more to government to more to private sector. So the mix, the shift, the mix, sales mix is shifting. So they're selling more apples than oranges, but overall they're selling more fruit. So who cares if it's fewer apples, more oranges? So I believe in it long term. Also, you remember I said last week something broke in the market. The NYSE had a breakage. So they gave you the floor and they gave you the top. So any drops into 6-ish, or for me, I will add. And any breakout from this top, it's going to 11. So cybersecurity, Palantir, I had no idea. No, they're a plug-and-play, on-the-fly decision-making AI company. So if you have a company and you have multiple sources of data, POS, accounting reporting, blah, 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 they come in and they give you a dashboard where the managers can just push buttons, basically, and make decisions on the fly. So this Microsoft is competition now, eventually. Plug maintains this, breaks out eventually, so it is making a good recovery based on the chart. So they are buying dips, and this is the opportunity zone. So if I'm long Plug, I can stay long Plug. Whoops. We went one over. Stop the video, Nick. Stop recording.